Welcome. I hope you enjoy the conversation you're about to see between me and another comedian about religion and comedy. These are conversations I'm calling disorganized religion. God bless. And for those atheists out there, may nothing await you after this life.
Welcome. Hey, nerds. Welcome to another edition of Disorganized Religion. I'm your host, as always, Seth Lawrence. And this week, I am blessed to be joined again by the one, the only Nick Linsmayer, and his partner in crime for this episode, the co-partners in crime, the promising up-and-comer, the arch nemesis of Josh Edelman, Matthew Bell. Do you prefer Matt or Matthew?
I go by Matt Bell.
Matt Bell. Promising up-and-comer, Josh Edelman's arch nemesis, Matt Bell, everybody. Matt Bell.
Hello. I'm his arch nemesis, but he's not mine.
Oh.
I want to get that very straight.
Yeah, so you are against him.
Well, he hasn't beaten me yet, so
right.
why would I look at him like a rival?
He's so far beneath you.
No, I'm just kidding. I love Josh. Very funny.
We all love Josh.
I've had good nights. My best nights have been against Josh. I like him having there for some reason. I don't know.
You just shine. You shine. We need opposition, right? We need opposition in order to really excel.
And a good luck charm.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe he's a good luck charm.
A couple good luck charms, I think.
Well, welcome. So what have you guys been up to during the coronavirus?
Well, I have been really lucky that my job I got to keep, and I actually got more work because of COVID because I work in health. So,
what aspect of the healthcare market do you operate?
I do engineering stuff to make sure everything's FDA compliant. So,
oh man, look at you! Who knew? Who knew Matt Bell was so highly educated?
It's very surprising.
No, I don't think it's surprising at all. I just didn't know. And how's the family business going, Nick?
It's good, yeah. Since I was on just a couple months ago, and I'm grateful to be back talking with you guys. Not too much has changed. Like Matt, I got more work during COVID, and the company itself is doing all right. Industrial sales are not great. As you probably know, durable goods orders are down. As we all know, people aren't buying as much airplane tape from 3M. So, but
right.
Then again, actually, home sales, it's a weird counter, cyclical type recession, because last recession, home sales were decimated. That was what drove down the market. In this case, the exact opposite is happening, where home sales are actually pretty robust. People are moving out of the city, and they have, in a lot of cases, people have money to buy a home, so they're doing that, and there's very cheap financing. So it's pretty interesting.
That is interesting.
Good.
Any thoughts on? Yeah, go for it, Matt.
I was very surprised by the words you used. Airplane tape.
Yes.
Do they use tape on airplanes?
They do. There's a particular type of tape.
I don't know if I like the sound of that.
The 3M uses. Yeah.
I don't think it's your garden variety duct tape.
No.
It better be better than duct tape.
Yeah.
It's so good. You need a very durable container for it. So, and then Boeing, all the airplane manufacturers use it in the manufacturing. It's not like a repair tape. It's not like on the outside you patch it together. It's internal components, electronics, that sort of thing.
I just need to get that out of the way. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to focus. So
you would have just been thinking about airplane tape.
Real. Yeah, that sounds.
Do either of you have
a
a fear of flying, or was that going to give you a fear, Matt?
I'm not afraid of flying. I know you're not likely to die, but it's definitely a scary experience.
Yeah. Can be exciting. How do you feel about people?
Very calm.
Right.
When you fly, you can get in a lot of trouble flying.
And you?
Yeah, I feel like people always get too drunk, and then they.
I would not.
Start a small altercation, and then the whole flight has to turn around.
Sure. Or you just happen to be a doctor who needs to get thrown off a plane.
And you're also accounting for 90 other people to keep their shit together so you can get to your place on time. So it's just there's a lot in the works that you go flying.
What are you talking about, Seth, with a doctor getting thrown off a plane? Is that Is that a movie reference? It's not to Airplane because Doctor didn't.
No, but I feel like last year when like flights were actually a thing, there was all those things like people like saying something racist and the whole flight have to like turn around and stuff.
Oh, do you guys not? No, do you guys not remember? There was it was maybe a year and a half ago now. The guy who needed to fly and the was it
Overbooked
Delta
or some shit?
Delta or something was like, hey, we've
American.
overbooked the flight and you need to like we've picked you to exit the plane, and he was like, no, I'm a doctor, I have to get there.
The Delta.
Yeah, you could like worry about stuff like that now. It's like,
yeah,
they're gonna kick me off for no reason. Like this.
Right.
I forgot that guy was a doctor.
Yeah, he was a doctor. That's why he refused to leave, is because he was like, I have to make this flight. I have a patient that I need to see. And I guess they didn't care.
Like, what type of doctor, though?
I don't know. Probably a plastic surgeon. I don't know. Yeah, I think he was he might have been a pediatrician. I don't know. I don't remember.
That's pretty important.
Yeah. I mean, every doctor's sort of.
He reminded me of Rojan Kim, not because he's Asian, but because he was very argumentative.
Oh, sure. You had some run-ins with Rojan?
No, but I am following him on. He's very active these days on social media, and he was very like pro the pandemic is a horrible thing early on, and now he's swung the other direction. So it's really been wild to see that oscillation in just a couple of months.
Yeah, that is interesting.
He thinks that it's overblown right now.
Right.
And initially, he was not quite at Sarah Lawrence level of convincing people to get their shit together, but he was like putting together spreadsheets and saying this is what exponential growth is and it's happening. And so I guess the
math guy.
Yeah, he's a
math guy. How dare he?
Well, that guy on the plane's defense, like, have you ever gotten into an argument with a doctor? They do not like to lose arguments, you know?
No. I mean, most people do not like to lose arguments.
Oh, this reminds me. I went to the doctor in January because I had a horrible flu. And like the worst I've ever had.
Could you not breathe? Did you have troubles breathing?
I had trouble breathing. I had a fever for over a week. I was sweating at night.
Yeah.
I had aches all over my body.
Yeah.
And you know what? I went to my doctor because I got a gift from a woman who was in China.
Uh-huh.
And that was a link. And I saw a friend who saw her, and she was in China, and it was starting to become a thing in January. I was paying attention. And then I go to the doctor because I said, I want to make sure. It's like a week after, 8 days after I first got symptoms. I go to my doctor and I say, I want to make sure I don't have coronavirus. He's like, coronavirus? Are you kidding me? He said the flu kills way more people. This is a fucking physician at UCLA.
Sure.
And he totally dismissed the coronavirus. So he made me sound like a schmuck.
In his defense, or him?
Him, yeah.
So in his defense, that was in January. That was before everybody really knew what was going on.
Well, Nassim Nicholas Taleb, I don't know if I mentioned him on the last podcast. I think I talked about him on Rojan's, actually. But he's this statistician, like really just smart, logical guy. And he saw this coming like late last year. He put out a paper in late January along with another like probability guy. And they basically told all the countries of the world, all the governments of the world, how to contain the virus. And if we had followed their measures and worn masks when he said, I mean, hundreds of thousands of people and trillions of dollars of wealth would have been preserved. So, we should have listened.
Well,
there were some smart people. We just should have listened.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Yeah.
So just follow Nassim Nicholas Taleb.
Nassim Nicholas Taleb?
He wrote a book called The Black Swan. So if you look up NNT.
Was that
Black
made
Swan.
into a movie?
Nah, it's not a gay ballerina movie. It's about numbers. It's the exact opposite. It couldn't be further from ballerinas.
It's a heterosexual math book. Nice.
That's right. Yeah.
Good.
And a gay math book, but no, it's mainly just about.
Well, you said the opposite of a gay ballet. Anyway.
Very much.
I like how in the olden days they used like shamans on peyote to predict the future, and now we just have like statisticians on Adderall doing it for us.
Not too different, really. Yeah. Where are you both stationed right now? Remind us where you are, Nick.
I'm in Eagan, Minnesota, which
Minnesota.
is between Minneapolis and St. Paul, just to the south a little bit. It's in the Twin Cities area.
Yeah.
So I was in town when the George Floyd stuff got kicked off.
Oh.
And I didn't go to the protests for a while. My dad's got cancer, and he's having surgery tomorrow for a hernia, and so it's just like
Jeez.
all these things. I don't want to give him COVID.
Yeah.
But I did go to the memorial yesterday, actually, in Minneapolis. Now that the crowds have thinned out, there were still marchers, actually.
Yeah.
And I might say, you can look this up, but there were guys with like automatic weapons, AK-47s, AR-15s. It was wild. In
Yeah.
the streets of Minneapolis, where
Masks? Do they have masks? Or
and
just guns?
most everyone had masks. It was
Most
pretty.
everyone. Oh boy.
I mean, people were distancing though, so that was good.
That was more to hide their identity, though.
Yeah, right. Not to be safe. Where are you now, Matt?
I'm in East LA.
East LA. Oh, so you're still in town.
Yep. I gotta say,
You what? For work?
I'm a brave soul. I'm one of the people, I guess. I don't know. I'm not too afraid of COVID, I guess. I don't know. I think everyone's just going to get it. Eventually. So let's keep people out of the hospitals. But
Right. I don't think anyone disagrees that everyone will get it eventually. It's just trying to prevent the really sick people from getting it until we can really take care of them, right?
Until we find something that works.
I wear my mask and stuff, but
so you're not to the level of a hoax.
I was a lot more afraid in the beginning, and then I was like, "Holy shit! Why do I have so much anxiety?" Like that. Like real in front of me problems.
Right.
It's like a problem out there, but it's
yeah.
I have more important shit I need to focus on.
So, what is your number one problem right now, Matt? What's the number one threat to Matt Bell, other than Josh Edelman, obviously?
Fortunately enough, just working. My job's starting out, so I gotta do a good job, and I'm a little over my head. So it takes a lot of extra work to stay just there. So I'm pretty focused on that and family stuff. So
nice. Is all your family in LA, or are they somewhere else?
They're up in Moore Park.
Oh my gosh!
Like a transitionary period where
he knew we were talking about him.
Answer, Amy.
Answer.
Yeah, why not?
All right. Josh, I'm doing a podcast with Nick and Matt Bell. Do you remember Matt Bell?
How can I forget?
How can you forget, indeed?
You're recording one right now?
Right now. We were just talking about you and you called.
Am I a caller on the podcast?
You're a caller into our podcast. We have a caller, everybody, the one and the only Josh Edelman.
Am I audible? Can the world hear me?
I think so.
I can hear him.
Okay. What were you guys saying about me?
Well, Matt was saying how he can't wait to take you down yet again when COVID is gone from the earth.
I mean, Matt can win all the battles he'd like, but we'll see who wins the war. That's
how you win the war.
Whenever I lose something, it was a battle. Whenever I win, it was a war.
And you'll declare it done.
And it's purely in my own head.
Right.
But I'll lose, and I'll be like, I'm willing to lose however many battles to win the war.
Yeah.
And then I'll win something meaningless, and I'll be like, the war has been won.
That was it. It's all done. Yeah, I was asking Matt what his current biggest problem is, because he said, at the beginning of COVID, he was worried, very stressed out, anxious about it, and then realized, hey, if I take care of myself, that'll be fine. But I have pressing issues in my life that I have to deal with apart from COVID, which is kind of an out there problem. And so I said,
is he dealing with the internal knowledge that he unjustly won 2 comedy competitions versus his open mic idol?
Oh, wow. I don't know. He didn't answer yet what his biggest problem was. I asked him what his biggest problem was other than you, and then you called. So.
Oh, hilarious.
Yeah.
But I love Matt. Oh, he's a good guy.
How can you not?
That's what I also said.
How can I not? If I was going to lose to anyone, let it be Matt Bell. Let it be someone I know I'm funnier than.
Terrible.
I'm only joshing. Maybe that'll be the new name of my podcast. I'm only joshing.
Yeah. Oh, only joshing. Gosh.
Just
Or
joshing
just
around.
joshing.
It's gonna stay
Just
quarantine.
joshing.
Just joshing. Yeah. Matt
It's
Bell
probably
concurs.
him.
Just
I'm
joshing.
guaranteeing you that.
And Nick, I will have you know that you will be a guest on an upcoming episode of
Wonderful.
Quarantime, should you so choose to indulge me.
Sure. You're dangling it over me. You know, I'm losing sleep over it, Josh.
Yeah, he says
I
he's
can't-
losing sleep over it.
He's losing sleep over. Well,
Yeah.
I'm only bringing it. It's coming back next week, and it's going to be weekly now, as opposed to, semi-daily.
Yeah, that'll be
So-
fun. Well, I'm so glad you chose to announce the grand return of Quarantine with Josh Edelman on my podcast.
But my podcast is my comeback is gonna happen before this episode's released. You haven't even released my new episode yet, correct?
I think I'm gonna have to check the archives.
Well, he has
You did.
to.
I
release
I think I
it
did release it.
first.
I need to. What happened was I've gotten behind in posting on Instagram. What'd you say,
yeah,
Matt?
Well, it'd be good to know. I've got fans who go and seek out my podcast appearances, Seth.
Yeah, I
What's the
know. I
point
got to
of
get
having
on
me
top
on?
of it.
What's
I
the
know.
point of having me on if I don't post it so Matt Bell knows to go check it out?
Right. Well, I mean, blackmail's one,
Go back.
but
Go back to competition.
yeah.
But I should let you guys. I should stop hogging their podcast. You have two comics, one of whom might even be funnier than me, according to certain judges in Los Angeles.
Right.
And here I am taking up all the time of your podcast.
I know.
Why
So
don't you get back
selfish.
to-
I mean, to Matt Bell's credit, he wanted me to answer the phone. So he's really ceding the limelight to you for this moment.
I love Matt Bell. I miss Matt Bell. I miss Nick. I miss you, Seth. I miss the world.
I know.
I miss you, Josh.
They miss you
and,
too.
It's okay for
And
2
on
weeks.
that, I'll let you
One.
get back to your podcast.
Oh, wait. Matt has some parting words for you. I'll relay them to you.
Yeah.
Because one we could always just edit this out.
Yeah, we could always edit this out, Matt Bell points out.
2, they have to release. Seth's gonna release.
Why get rid of the
podcast.
best part of the episode?
Well, hold on. Matt Bell has another reason. Hold on.
I always talk over people. It's bad. He has to release my podcast first, and you're second.
Oh, so you have to release his podcast first, and then
No,
mine.
you're gonna post mine first. Josh is second to keep the trend.
Oh, he's saying that if I have not yet already released yours, which I'm fairly confident that I have, but he's saying that if I haven't, then I should release his first, just to keep the trend going, where he wins.
Yes, that is what I poorly tried.
Flimsy logic there, but I get it.
Right. Well, Josh, it's always good to have you be a part of this, and we all miss you too, buddy.
It's always good to be a part of this. I'll let you guys go cast some more pods.
All right.
All right.
Take
peace.
care.
Love ya.
Bye. They love you, Josh.
What do you actually called to talk about?
He usually calls me so that he does not get accosted on his way home or while he walks around in the evening times. So he and my wife are on the same kind of schedule and need me for almost the same things.
That's very funny.
So what is your biggest problem right now, Matt, that you're facing?
Just being cooped up in my room for 4 months, I guess. But basically what I was trying to say before, like I was actually very afraid of coronavirus. I was like, oh, I could die.
Yeah.
Like after like the first couple of weeks, I was like, I'm probably not gonna die. So like
Yeah.
I go over that. So before coronavirus, thinking you're gonna die, that's probably your number one problem. So
Right.
coronavirus got demoted down quite a bit. Pretty fortunate. Biggest problem is just work and just work takes a lot of my energy.
Yeah.
And then gotta make money.
Make that dough. Make that green.
Very fortunate. No.
How long you been doing stand-up, Matt?
2 years now.
2 years. Oh, nice.
Into the third.
And what's that?
Into my third now, so probably May 2018.
That's when you started?
Yeah, that's how math works, right? 2 years ago.
Yeah. What was your catalytic event? What sent you into this spiral?
I wrote a really bad TV pilot, and I was convinced that it was good, and I needed to show it to somebody. And I was
Okay.
like, I got to get in with the comedy crew. Got to do stand-up, so I just wrote a stand-up set, and then did pretty good and got hooked on it. I like
Oh,
gratification, so kind of thrown away TV writing.
yeah.
And
Was TV writing kind of the original dream, or was it just something you were interested in for a time?
I think it's definitely still an end goal.
Mm-hmm.
To get to the point where it's like someone wants me in their writer's room, I think I'd take that job instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Cartoons, and I think I like to write silly jokes, so I think I would do well writing for like a kid's cartoon or like a teenager cartoon or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, very fun. But for now, stand-up is the passion.
Yes, just chasing that instant gratification, baby.
That's what you're after.
Really,
Is there
really
any?
is.
Is there anything else about stand-up that keeps you hooked, keeps you coming back, or is it just the immediate knowledge of that joke worked, that joke didn't?
I like the competitiveness of it a little bit too.
Sure.
It's definitely competitive, even though people don't say it is.
So what about it is competitive for you?
I feel like it's like a healthy competition. People like push people to be better comedians. Like, I think that shows with people bombing and people getting applause. Like, that's the meter right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like your stuff.
Yeah.
And
but what I mean, I guess another aspect of it is, do you find it helpful to measure yourself against others who started when you did, or is it more helpful to you to say, well, I did this joke yesterday and it didn't go as well, but tonight it went better? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, it's like a personal competition. I guess so you don't want to say that you do, but you definitely like. I've been doing comedy. I see this guy all the time, and I feel like I've improved more or something. I don't know. I kind of like that, but
yeah, I like both aspects. Absolutely.
I'm not happy that they're not progressing, but I'm just happy with the pace because I put in hard work, so I like to see it show. Yeah,
and do you still feel like stand-up is if you're good, you rise to the top profession, or have you been jaded a bit on that?
I don't know enough about it yet. 2 years in, I just mostly hit the same open mics, the same people.
Yeah.
Not really within the in crowd, I guess. More like, I don't know.
Oh, who's the in crowd? Now I'm curious.
Just I'd say anyone who goes to the improv regularly.
Oh, that's a big in crowd.
It's a very big group.
Yeah.
I'd say it's a very big group.
Yeah.
And then casual comics. Like most of the casual comics are not going to go wait for 4 hours to not go up.
Right.
If they go up, Bob.
Yeah. Who do you have the same estimation on the in crowd, Nick, or do you have a different definition? Or is there an in crowd, you think?
Yeah, I think that is a fair assessment. It's certainly people who are putting themselves out there to an extent that I'm similar to Matt in the amount of time I've been doing stand-up and the types of mics I do. I think I've gone to the improv a couple times for the mic. I've never gotten up, and I just got fed up with waiting. And I feel like it's a definite path, but it's not the only path. And it doesn't feel like it doesn't have a good energy like a lot of the other places do from my experience.
Do you have a similar estimation of the energy, Matt, at the improv?
I don't know. I'm trying to I feel like I'm always just articulating how exactly I feel wrong, especially, but.
Are you in a relationship with a woman right now? Is that why?
A big degree of people who are more dedicated to being a stand-up comedian.
Sure.
Others. So I'm not saying it's like a clique. It's just a group of people I associate with. Oh, they're trying to be comedians.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's an outward signal of, I'm taking this seriously.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good or bad. A lot of them are great. A lot of them are not as great as the other ones, but they're all pretty good.
Same level of dedication, though. That's the commonality. Yeah. So what about the? Oh, what?
Those are a lot of people I use as my measuring stick.
Yeah. Right. I think that makes sense. Nick, what about the vibe at the improv do you not appreciate?
I
Is
think
it the
part of it is,
competitiveness or what? Sorry.
I don't know that it's the people themselves that are as much to blame as just the environment. If you're shoulder to shoulder with people, you're just not going to be as relaxed as if you're at the Comedy Cafe. Shout out to
Mm.
Joe Menente and all his great work, where you have a literal throne to sit in, food to eat, and you can spread out a little bit. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
So
that just
what?
lends itself to a more relaxed, I don't know, collegiate atmosphere.
Yeah. Yeah. That throne. So there are some who listen to the podcast who have not been to the LA open mic scene. They've not been to Joe's Comedy Cafe. So maybe describe this throne of which you speak for them. It's not on stage.
It is not on stage. It is facing the stage. It's dead center in the room. Joe Menente is so wonderfully put together a nice room on Hollywood Boulevard in Thai-town. I believe the place used to be a cafe from when I talked to him about it, and he inherited the throne from the previous tenant.
Ah.
And he at first got it for free, and then he had to pay for it, which
Oh,
stunk.
jeez.
But anyway, it's this huge, it's got to be a couple 100-pound wooden throne that is a giant wingback. You're sitting and you're a king. It's, red velvet. And so they sit in there and people do roasts. A number of people probably listening to this will have witnessed or heard of the roast of Monty Gear, which is fun, and a lot of great up and coming comics on a little higher level than myself. I think Matt could have easily performed there, but I just think it's a high caliber people, very funny. And so anyway, that's the sort of thing that happens at that venue is roasts and shows, but they're not necessarily, they don't take themselves so seriously as the improv, and frankly they're not usually going to get as well paid of people, but I think they still have a lot of great content.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a nice vibe at some of the slotted mics, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
You need that support, right? All right, where are you from, Matt? Are you from LA or did you move to LA?
No, I was born in New York City.
Oh.
When I was 4, like right outside of New York City, to Connecticut, and then stayed there till I was 18. And then we moved to California, where I did 1 year of high school and school in Colorado, and then
LA.
Yeah, and then I've just stayed.
So did you move out here you said college is why you moved out here?
No, my family moved out here. My dad worked out.
Oh, got it.
It was pretty nice from Connecticut to California.
Got it. So you were here when you started stand-up. It wasn't like you could have chosen to go back to New York because family was there.
No, my family's out here now.
Yeah. Cool. Gotcha. So were you raised religious?
Raised Protestant. Not really forced on us. The Protestants don't really like shove it down your throat that much. They kind of like day school, but we would do make crazy science experiments and stuff, like tornadoes in a bottle and stuff. And then we would color in Jesus.
All right. Did they tie those two ideas together, the tornado in the bottle and the Lord and Savior, or did they just leave them?
I don't know if the teacher was not good or if I just wasn't paying attention or if I just didn't want to learn. I don't remember.
Yeah, fair enough.
I forget the moral of that story. I do remember it being a cool science experiment, though. Yeah. They did well, I guess.
Do you still identify as Protestant, or have you sort of left the faith?
Yeah, I'm pretty atheist. I don't know.
Like agnostic side of atheist or atheist?
I definitely believe in like a higher power in a sense.
Okay.
I think it's beyond anything we can conceive, which I guess, yes. So yeah, I do believe in God, but I don't believe in any organized religion.
Yeah, well, that's fair. So you might consider yourself spiritual, just not religious.
Definitely spiritual. I think about this all the time. I kind of believe we live in a computer simulation.
Oh, all right. So the Matrix outlook on life.
Yes.
Okay.
So I studied DNA in college, and it's basically just computer code.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like an organic-based computer system. So it's like an organic computer simulation. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey.
I about it a lot in school. I don't know. It's hard to I also studied evolution.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to go back and read the Bible. So, and I don't know. I haven't thought about it that much.
Yeah. I mean, growing up, were you taught that evolution was contrary to the Bible?
No, I think just growing up, I was just taught be a good person.
Sure.
Basically, just be a good person, love people, turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
And I think my parents did a good job raising us. All my brothers and sisters are very good people. Not a lot of malice in their lives. My little brother's going to school to be a doctor.
Oh.
So,
what kind? The kind that gets thrown out of Delta flights, or?
I don't think he's specified yet. I don't know yet, but probably he's Asian. So.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Is he really Asian? Do you have an adopted brother? That'd be cool.
Yeah, my mom is pretty religious. She adopted 4 children.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she thought it's the Christian thing to do.
Sure.
Yeah.
So your younger brother really is Asian.
Yes.
Yeah. That's very cool.
I have a half Asian family because I do have a half Asian family.
Yeah. So are you the oldest and then they adopted, or?
I'm the second oldest. My mom had my older sister and then me. And then she was like, no more of this. And then, let's just adopt them.
Gotcha. So did your family adopt kids from all over the world, or did you just
China and Vietnam?
Okay. So you just tried to colonize the Asian countries. Good for you.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah. No, my wife has 3 Asian siblings, one that was adopted from Hong Kong, one, and then 2 that were adopted from Kazakhstan. So there is much more, I think, Asian influence in her family than the other way around, to be,
I want to meet them. I was just literally talking to my mom the other day about how I've never met anybody from Kazakhstan.
Oh, no kidding.
Have you met anybody from Kazakhstan before?
Yeah. Me? Yeah. I mean, my sisters-in-law are both from. Are you trying to mispronounce it on purpose, or what's happening?
No, am I mispronouncing it?
Kazakhstan.
I think it's Kazakhstan.
What did I say?
Sultan is the capital.
Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan.
I was just
Is that
reading
wrong?
about
Kazakhstan?
They plant a lot of trees there. I like that.
They plant a lot of trees in Kazakhstan and Kazakhstan.
They moved their capital about 20 years ago.
Yeah,
because steppe region.
Right.
Tell me why. I don't know the exact thinking, but it was an autocratic decision.
Yeah, I think a lot of it had to do with where the leader was from or something.
And they changed the name now to the most recent president.
Yeah.
And they planted 1 million trees to try to cut down on the wind, which I love. If I were any type of autocratic leader, I'd just plant 1 million trees.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Let's wait now 50 years, and then we won't have any more wind.
Well, it's been 10, 15. The trees are growing well.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good. Good. I'm surprised you know that much.
You check in on the trees.
Yeah. Do they have a live stream? You're finding?
See the shadow.
Yeah, the shadows on Google Earth.
Mm-hmm.
You're just tracking them.
Hey guys, look how much more shadow we have this year.
Yeah, it's amazing. And remind me, Nick, what is your religious background?
Raised Protestant as well, Lutheran, and I kind of, very liberal. Minnesota Protestant. We had women pastors and all that, and I was very religious. Religious family, relatively speaking, up until college, and then into college, I found a Methodist group, and then a evangelical group on campus, and then I studied abroad in Hong Kong, and then I got some distance, and I got to just see how wonderful those people are the people of Hong Kong who come from all over the world.
Yeah.
And it's a very international city, and very few religious people, but still wonderful people. And I was like, I got away from it. But now, in the last year or so, I've had a friend who's reintroduced me to Christianity, and it's a good thing. I think it's a really good thing. I think Jesus, Son of God, remarkable.
Yeah.
I think Jesus.
I think Jesus
that's the quote.
is a good
that's
thing.
the quote for the podcast.
Yeah.
I think Jesus.
I think Jesus sometimes. So, Matt, what drew you away from your faith?
It can be a little boring.
Like just the church service, or the entire idea of the gospel is boring?
I don't know, just
Because I agree, church can be boring.
Going to church does not sound appealing to me at all.
Yeah.
Sitting through that does not sound fun.
Yeah.
I want to read the Bible, but I know a lot of there's some good stories in there, but I know a lot of it's just like really hard to read through junk. That's a hard word to say, but like dense.
Yeah.
Like you won't pull a lot out of it, but there's a lot of words.
Right. That is why most people read the Bible multiple times, right? So
yeah, you got to.
Get more meaning out each time.
I think I'll read the New Testament.
You know what I've actually found? Yeah, the New Testament's great. I've found that when reading the Bible, it helps to have read like a Jewish author, contemporary author, because sometimes I get like too like distracted, like the language is just not flowing. But then I've been reading Rodney Dangerfield's autobiography recently, and there's a rhythm to it, and you get that with the Bible. It's just like you got to keep going. It's a this and a that, and hey, it's almost Jackie Mason as well. So that's a tip.
At first, I thought you were suggesting that Rodney Dangerfield was a contemporary author with the Bible.
Yeah. No, he's an old man, but he wasn't that old. He was a 2,000-year-old man.
Right.
Y'all listen to that.
Rodney Dangerfield reading the Bible.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. That would be
300 hours of Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah. So, Matt, with your computer simulation idea of our reality, what awaits us? What awaits you? You die. What's waiting for you, or nothing?
Probably nothing.
All right.
I don't know.
Yeah. And is that for most people I talk to in normal life, that's a very depressing thought. But most people I've had on this podcast, they find that actually very liberating, very freeing. That there's nothing waiting. How do you feel about it?
I think it's a little liberating. Not have to worry about going to hell, even though I do worry about going to hell sometimes. Because that's
do you? Is that just
that sounds a little scary. I'm like, I don't want to be a bad person.
Yeah. Did your Protestant faith talk a lot about hell, or?
No.
Okay, just from your own study of it.
Just like, what if the Catholics were right? That's what I think. Their hell sounds terrible.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
The versions of hell. The Jews don't even have hell, right?
Correct.
I
think for the Jews, this is their hell.
My mom is half Jewish.
Gotcha.
So she definitely didn't have religion forced on her.
Mm-hmm.
She's like religious Jewish from her father. So technically, I'm not really Jewish.
Right.
Even though it's from my mother, but it got like disconnected 2 generations.
Because of her dad, your grandpa. Yeah.
So like, I don't think she was raised religious. She just is religious.
Yeah. So she's still going to church?
Not now, but
not now.
Yes, she will go.
You mean because of coronavirus, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I also think she wasn't going that much before, but she's gone through phases where she goes on.
Yeah. So for this is a question for both of you. How have your beliefs changed, if at all, during quarantine or because of COVID-19? Reinforced?
It's reinforced.
This has shown you there is no God up there.
Oh no, I believe in like.
Oh, you believe in a higher power. That's right.
It's like something had to make us. Like something had to make us. Like,
So you don't think Big Bang did it, or you think something drove Big Bang to happen?
something made Big Bang, and I'll never be able to answer that until I die, I guess. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of excited to die because you get to see what happens on the other side. But
But I thought you said there was nothing.
there could be something though.
Oh, okay.
Like,
All right.
I don't know. I can't wrap my head around multiple dimensions.
Sure.
Enough to do that. So I just look at like the biology side. I just think there's like code to everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Like,
do you believe that there's a
program.
perfect code, and that is perhaps this entity, this perfected code out there that is trying to replicate itself until it finds itself? Or
I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know. I definitely do think humans are just DNA trying to replicate.
yeah,
A Darwinist in that sense, which is why the coronavirus just like reinforces just the
that sort of natural order of things.
I guess I never really heard of the perfect code theory. So you're saying everything's trying to push to be the perfect DNA?
Well, I mean, scientifically, right, everything actually pushes to break apart, right? That's entropy.
Yes.
But
that's what you do when you program computers. You try to shorten the program.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yes, but that's someone that is constantly putting in input, right? If you leave nature to its own devices, typically it breaks down over time.
I think it depends on what scale you're looking at. If it's, a macro scale versus a micro scale of an organism's lifespan versus a macro scale of generations of organisms.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's a useful distinction to make.
I think, things get more robust over time. It's kind of anti-fragile to get back to Nassim Nicholas Taleb. But here's a book, Matt, that I think and probably other listeners would like. It's by Francis Collins, who is the current head of the National Institutes of Health. And he
the title of the book is Language of God.
The Language of God. And basically he talks about how evolution and God can evolution, science in general, and God can coexist. Those two ideas
that's great.
Yeah, are not necessarily mutually exclusive, as a lot of people would like to think they are. Like
right,
that
which
in Kentucky, where they got a big arc.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, there are those on the religious side that don't think science is beneficial, and there are those on the science side that don't think religion is at all beneficial. I think it goes both ways.
Mm-hmm.
But
I guess the most religious text I've ever written is probably the River to Eden. Like Charles Darwin. It's just about Darwinism, about how DNA is just trying to replicate.
Yeah.
Pretty much our whole life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, very interesting. So Nick, how's what's that?
I recommend that book. So I forget who it's by, which is bad. But
all right. What's the title one more time?
The River to Eden.
The River to Eden.
God, I hope that I'm right.
We'll find out, I guess. And Nick, how about for you? Have your thoughts, beliefs changed at all since we last spoke?
Well, I would say that since we last spoke, I think I was reading the Bible more consistently, pretty much every night. The last time we spoke. Now I've been getting distracted. I was meditating before the pandemic, and I was reading the Bible more consistently. And then recently, I've used the excuse of the pandemic and staying with my dad as like I don't have to meditate because I want to spend more time with him and take time away from him. But then, of course, I'm a bastard if I don't meditate. So it's making more bad time together. It's actually quite counterproductive. And then I've been listening to a lot of podcasts because Ghislaine Maxwell was just arrested last week. That'll date this episode. And so anyway, there's a lot of crazy things going on in the world, and there's too much information about it. So I've been letting myself get distracted, which I shouldn't do. I got to center myself again.
All right, we had a little technical difficulty apparently, but we're back. We're back now. So you notice there's a big difference for you when you meditate versus when you do not meditate.
Yeah, I think in general, just having structure to my day and being, at least somewhat disciplined in a few regards. I like to do core workouts because I got a back issue, and I think a bit of meditation, a bit of scripture reading, and a bit of other reading and
Mm-hmm.
work and writing. I think if I can do that, and then I can fit in distractions between. But I do need, I think, some stuff to rely on.
Yeah.
Regularly.
So, Matt, what principles or I guess kind of rules do you give yourself for being a good person? Is it tied to religion or not at all, or tied to your religious upbringing or not at all?
I've always wondered, because there's always the temptation to do bad things, but I have a pretty heavy conscience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would call that the light of Christ.
Too much things.
But go on.
Yes. So, yeah, even small things I feel really guilty about later. So it's never worth the anxiety later. So I think that's the main reason for me to be nice to a new person is for my
own. So where does that come from? Have you thought about where that feeling originates?
I think if anytime anything's bad has happened to you, the feeling, and you're I don't want to do that to somebody else, and that's pretty what it is.
Gotcha. But why do you think? Why do you think we are programmed that way? Or do you think? Does that question make sense? Because most an economic view of human beings is that you should be self-interested. Sort of the very essence of Adam Smith economics is do what's best for you, which will benefit the society in totem. But stealing something because it might be beneficial to you might not actually be beneficial to everyone else.
This podcast asks a lot of very hard to answer questions.
We're trying to find the meaning of everything here, Matt.
I need you to tell me the meaning of life right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, okay, no, but I know what you're saying. Is it evolutionary advantageous to be nice? I think it is to be nice. Teams always get more things done than a person by himself. And I think it takes a fucking moron. You're going to die if you try to do this by yourself. Join us. Oh, you can't join us if you're being a dick. So if you want to survive and thrive, be selfish and be part of the team.
Yeah, be selfish in certain aspects, perhaps.
Yes, be good to yourself by joining the team.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can get behind that. Beautiful. All right, are you guys ready for the best segment of all?
What is that? When I get
where you guys get to ask me now questions about the Mormon faith and my thoughts on spirituality and religion in the segment I'm calling "What's the Deal with Mormons?" Do you want Nick to take the lead on this one, Matt? Or
yeah, I'm sure Nick has a better question.
All right, but if there's anything you've thought of as we've been discussing, fire away.
I had more questions in the beginning. But
not so much anymore.
Not so much anymore. You asked me too many hard-hitting questions.
Oh no! We jolted them out. They'll come back to you.
My computer.
You just got to reboot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, Seth, when you're on your mission and you're proselytizing to people around the world, or in your case, in our own American backyard. Where was it again? It was in the
Canada.
Canada.
Yeah, the neighbors to the north.
When that happens, do you ever have any cultural exchange to learn about their religion? This is, if I may, a two-part question. And is there any sort of Rumspringa type, which is the Amish, exploring of non-religious life? Is there a sort of encouragement to look beyond the faith of Mormonism, LDS, and have a real foundation in what the world is about?
So we go on missions when we are now 18. When I served, the recommended age for men was 19. For women, it was 21. Now it's 18 for men, and I think 19. It might be 20 for women. I forget. So they've even decreased it. Before I left, I felt a personal need to know and understand a little bit better religions of the world. So I took a course at BYU on religions in the world, or religions of the world, and found that very beneficial. My experience in my mission, though, was talking to people. Most of them were more like Eunuch or more like Matt Bell, who had grown up with a certain religion and then had since left it. And really felt like a relationship with God, if there is a God, would be more personal than dictated under some sort of religious hierarchy. So it was beneficial in some respect, but certainly if I'd gone, Asian like to an Asian country or somewhere in the Middle East, it would have been much more beneficial, because there's, I think, a heavier tie culturally to religion and spirituality than there was in Canada. Most people in Canada, at least in Quebec where I was serving, raised Catholic, non-practicing. That was like 90% of people I talked to.
Thank you. Good to know.
Yeah. There's not necessarily a push from the church to do that. I don't think the church, there's not a negative, there's not a push against doing that from the church either. I think it's just, you prepare the best you can. The church's stance is the best preparation is to be, sure in your own faith. So get the best testimony and witness of your own faith that you can before going out. For me, that included understanding a little bit about other religions. So find common points. I think I got both parts. Was that both parts?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Whew, good.
I like how Nick just asked the question, you answer. He's just like, "Thank you." I asked the question, you answered it.
It's an exchange of ideas.
Yes.
So Matt, did you think of anything?
Yes.
Good.
Have you ever convinced somebody to become Mormon?
The short answer is yes. The long answer is we never do that, right? The Spirit does that. So I certainly taught people on my mission. While I was teaching in my entire 2 years of my missionary service, there were 3 people who I baptized. 2 of them left the church a few months after I left the area. They got in an argument with another member of the congregation after I left about the Bible versus the Book of Mormon. The guy who converted to the faith, he and his wife, the man was a one-legged preacher who had made his living going around to small fishing villages in northern Quebec preaching.
That's a good
Bible.
convert right there.
Yeah. So he loved the Bible, and my faith, we love the Bible as well, but we do put the Book of Mormon on a bit closer link to God than we do the Bible. So for us, we do think the Book of Mormon is a good companion to the Bible, but we're very concerned about reading the Book of Mormon every day, in addition to reading the Bible. So he got in an argument about which book I think was most important, and was very offended that the Bible was not that book. So he and his wife ended up leaving the church, but their son, so the couple were like 70, their son was 50, and he also converted to the faith and stayed in the faith, as far as I know.
Nice. So he wasn't a good convert. I take it back.
He was a great convert. He just wasn't, I guess, all the way in. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how that's all going to get sorted out. It's, it's tough. I mean, that was hard as a missionary, to work hard to find people that were open and receptive to the message that we brought, to see their lives improve because of the message that we brought to them, to see, the Spirit working in their lives, and then to have that ruined because of a stupid argument. That's kind of frustrating. So, yeah. But what can you do? I believe that everything will be sorted out at the great judgment day, and that we will all exit Judgment Day perfectly happy with our situation.
Do you blame arguments and stuff like that on like the devil?
I guess somewhat. I mean, I think, I think temptations and things come from our fallen state. I don't think the devil takes a very active role in all of our lives. He might be more active than I give him credit for. But I think, we're all naturally inclined. We talked about we don't like losing in comedy competitions. We don't like being wrong in arguments. I think there's a very natural aspect to that that's not necessarily like the devil is whispering to us constantly to be upset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess kind of, but I don't think it's a direct, angel and devil on the shoulder situation for everybody. I do think we all battle, right, with the person that we want to be versus the person that we might naturally be without thinking about it, if that makes sense. There's a phrase in my faith called the natural man, which is like the fallen. Is that Ryan?
That is Ryan.
Jeez.
Holding on the dot.
Unbelievable.
He knew we were talking to you.
Yeah.
No, he's like, oh, it's a 1 hour podcast.
They must be done. All right, I'll switch that so that it doesn't bother
It's
us.
nice of him to assume that we recorded the perfect podcast, a 1 hour podcast.
Right. We could have done it. Yeah, there's a phrase that we call, that we use called the natural man, which is like our fallen state. So we believe that, Adam and Eve lived in the Garden of Eden. That was all in God's presence, right? In a higher state of being. And that when they did whatever it was they did to get kicked out of the Garden of Eden, that was a literal falling of the earth. The earth separated Adam and Eve. They all separated from God. So they fell from his glory and presence, and that's why we're all here.
Would
So
it be wrong?
What's that?
I'm sorry. I'm just curious if you would feel bad about profiting off of that guy's life story, that one-legged Quebecois preacher. That's a hell of a story.
It's a great story.
Like a good Wes Anderson film.
And he looked just like John Wayne. I mean, exactly like John Wayne.
Sell that to Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
Into puppets? A three-legged preacher man?
Yeah.
Wait, was one-legged or three-legged? Okay.
One-legged preacher man.
I blame the devil for
interrupting you. I'm sorry to interrupt you. What were you?
No, you're fine. I was just saying that we have a natural state that is a fallen state. So this is where we get kind of our selfishness from. This is where we, get sort of the less positive aspects of ourselves, and that leads to most of the bad things that happen.
So that was very instructive of me and very exemplary for me to do that. So you're welcome that I interrupted you, because it was totally my natural man.
It was because of your natural man. And so, for me, my faith is, a lot of it is about using the atonement of Jesus Christ to rise above the natural man. So, yeah.
There's work to be done.
There is work to be done. How dare you?
I mean, you guys shave a lot?
Do what?
I mean, you guys shave a lot?
Yeah.
Let's review on body hair in the Mormon church.
Go for it. All natural, baby.
Okay, so you be natural in that sense.
Right. I mean, as a missionary, we were asked to shave facial hair. So no facial hair as a missionary. That was not that difficult for me because I don't grow very much facial hair at all. Nick, you might have been devastated. I don't know.
What's the thinking there? Is there a scripture?
I don't think there's a scripture. It's more just about public appearance. It's easier to maintain a clean face than some scruffy bearded mug.
Oh, I feel personally assaulted by the LDS Church. My goodness.
So that's just if you were to be a missionary, though. and or a BYU student. There was a time, I think they've changed it now, but I think there was a time at BYU where you could not, they might not have changed it, but there was no facial hair for kids at BYU.
It's like the military. Do
Yeah.
you know any old people in the LDS faith who have facial hair? Because like none that I can think of famous ones have it. Certainly not Mitt Romney or.
Well, yeah, certainly not Mitt Romney. I mean, yeah, there are lots of people. There are no famous people that I can think of currently today that have facial hair. But if you go back, I mean, Joseph Smith had facial hair. There's a really good picture of Brigham Young with a beard far more outstanding than yours, Nick. Trying to remember. I think Lorenzo Snow was probably, I think he got consistently the award amongst the youth for best facial hair, which was kind of an ironic, we gave it because it looked awful. Lorenzo Snow, spelt with a Z in Lorenzo. Lorenzo Snow. Feel free to look him up and see if I was right. There's one guy that has like this very odd two-pronged facial hair growth going on.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's kind of like old Nick or whatever that I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, no, that's not the one I was thinking of, but that's a good beard though.
That's a haircut though.
Yeah. I don't remember now who had the crazy. But a lot of the early leaders of the church had facial hair. It has since gone out of style. I don't know. There's no.
It's kind of a prong.
Yeah, that might have been what I was thinking of. Anyway, so it used to be in vogue. It's not in vogue anymore. There's no scripture that prevents it. I think it's more just let's present a clean front as a church. I think it's more just aesthetic now than anything else. But it might change. I hope it does. I hope they let all walks of facial hair.
That's all right.
Yeah. But no, I mean, people, you could be baptized with a beard, no problem. Once you're outside of BYU, a mission, grow a mustache, grow a beard. I tried for like 4 months to grow a mustache and it barely came in. So
how would they tell you? We just like go to church one day and then they'd be like, oh, by the way, you guys can do beards now.
So the church takes your email. We actually have every member is cataloged.
Wow.
Yeah. So when the church wants to make an announcement, they now send out an email. We get emails.
Do you have to give them your passwords?
No. To our accounts? No.
Yeah.
They must have like the highest click-through rate of any listserv ever, right? Like everybody reads the email?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're damned to all eternity?
I don't think you're damned. You're just going to be out of the loop. You'll have to wait.
I missed one!
Yeah, you're going to have to wait, as Matt Bell suggests. You're going to have to go to church and someone will be like, hey, by the way, you can't wear blue ties to church anymore.
Man, they better pick good hours for emails. Like, they're not going to be sending them super early or super late, right? They have like, is it like a lunchtime thing? I'm curious, do they have weekend emails?
Most of the emails I get, if I remember, are during the week because that's when church offices are open. So anyone who's sending the email would be typically at work, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know. They might have it staggered out for different markets around the world. I have no idea.
Man, that's kind of North American centric though, because the offices are in Salt Lake City. I wouldn't want
they have offices. They have a church office building in Hong Kong. They have offices kind of around the world.
Got it. And so any of them can send an email. I'm curious about this logistics. It's fascinating.
Yeah, as long as they have the internet, they can send an email. Yeah.
Is that why your friends adopted from Hong Kong?
No, they were. So my wife, her dad, so my father-in-law. That's how that all works. He was teaching at a university in Hong Kong.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Just curious.
Yeah. So they've had a lot of ties to Hong Kong as they've grown up. I mean, he taught there for a long time until my wife was almost 13. Then they moved to Arizona or to Utah when she was 13.
Which one was it, by the way? Which university?
HKUST.
Okay, HKU, sure.
Yeah.
We're a very respectable institution.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, it is. So he was
Highly
hired
touted.
on to help them build up their accounting program at HKUST.
Cool.
He was kind of one of their American big guns to go over there and teach. Yeah. So anyway.
Not anymore.
What do you mean not anymore?
It's China now.
I mean, they're fighting. They're fighting hard to prevent as much of it happening as quickly as possible.
Well, I think it's kind of an uphill battle. You can
Yeah, it
be
is.
imprisoned for life for anything deemed against the state.
Yeah, which is really sad.
Horrible.
Yeah. So I don't know. I hope
Everybody
a
loves
lot
it
of
there.
them. What's that?
Everybody who's there loves it.
Well, they have loved it. I think that opinion will change quite quickly. And a lot of them, I wonder if a lot of them are going to take Britain, England up on their easy out pass.
Taiwan as well. It's going to take in a
Yeah.
bunch.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. Anyway, there's a lot going on. It's probably why China started the coronavirus, so we'd all forget.
Yep.
Anyway. Any other questions before I let you guys plug whatever it is you got going on?
I have nothing.
Well,
This was my.
no other questions?
All the other questions I have, I could just Google. Do you guys not allowed?
Do that. You're going to get some anti-Mormon site. You're going to be like, I can't believe.
No, it's just do Mormons have to not allowed to work on Sundays and stuff like that?
So there's a lot of I guess what I'll say with all the not allowed stuff is we are encouraged not to do certain things.
You're allowed to dance.
Yeah, we can dance.
Okay.
We're allowed to dance. We cannot dance, but we're allowed to do it. It's not footloose. Yeah, so you can work on Sundays, right? I think there's a social stigma that comes with working on Sunday unless you're a doctor, unless you have some sort of we understand you're actually doing the Lord's work on the Sabbath. Typically, though, right, we're encouraged not to work on Sunday.
Discouraged to be sick on Sunday too, so the doctor can.
Yeah, right. If you can plan your illness around the Sabbath, that would be preferable. And really, if you're living your life righteously, you should not be sick. So.
Oh, so you're saying if you get COVID, we're not.
You are sinning. There's something in your life that you need to correct.
Well, what if you're asymptomatic?
Well, then I guess you don't know that you're sinning.
That's probably me.
I don't know. It's all made up. I don't really believe any of those things.
That's
People
good.
get sick because they're in contact with someone else that's sick or something that was touched by a sick person.
Like they're boogers.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're boogers.
Fomites.
Yeah. All right. Where can people find you two fools? Instagram? Is that what's used most?
I'm on
TikTok?
I'm on the gram. I'm on the Gmail.
The Gmail?
Gmail me at mabe2048@gmail.com.
Oh, all right. I'll have to
You can
remember
follow
that.
me on Instagram at Matt Bell. Only one L on that last Bell.
Okay. I'll put those both in the show notes. Do you want your email in the show notes?
Absolutely.
All right. Wow, look at you just putting
My
out your
favorite
personal
platform.
info. Yeah. What about you, Nick? People find you on Instagram, right?
Indeed, my last name, Linsmayer, spelled like the town of Linz, but with an S instead of a Z. And
Man, that was so clear.
like Meyer Lansky, the great Jewish mobster of the 30s and 40s. So just those things, which we're all familiar with. And then,
right.
Yeah, I'll put out my email. Why not? It's nick@linsmeyer@gmail.com. So
One more time.
It's my first name, last name @gmail. It'll be in the
beautiful.
show notes, people. If you want to email me.
Yeah. No, just for me so that I can put it in the show notes.
Oh, very good. Yeah,
Thank
you. I appreciate it.
Excellent. Well, anything you guys want to plug? Any podcasts you're starting? TV pilots you're ready to submit? Zoom shows you want to start? Instagram live shows that you won't do?
I will be doing the platinum package in 4 or 5 months when it's finally
Oh, when it's no longer on Instagram Live?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's in person.
That's
Keep an eye out for that.
It's a wise move.
Thank you, Ryan, the Cable Viewer.
Yeah, I'll probably be doing the same thing at some point. We have been keeping, we three have been keeping Ryan Brawley, also known as Ryan the Cable Viewer, sane. So a great man. We love him very much. Shout out to Ryan.
Ryan.
As sane as we can.
As sane as we can. Yes. Yeah.
Not that sane.
Yeah, he's great. All right. Well, thank you both for joining me.
Thank you, Seth.
Thank you for
I hope
having
you guys
us.
have a safe week.
You too.
You too.
All right. Bye.
You guys on Hangouts.